All right, guys, the podcast episode you've all been waiting for. I'm here with the man himself, Troy Candy. My name is Leo, and this is episode 6 of the No Limits podcast. Thanks for being on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
This isn't your first appearance on the show, but because on the Oscar
Yeah, give Oscar a bit of cheek.
on the Oscar podcast, if you guys watched it, Troy was trolling him a little bit, and I found that really funny. And even when I was reading out the questions, like obviously I'd been aware of you previously, I was like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to have a chat to him. So thanks again for coming on, man. I think people are going to really enjoy this. So this podcast episode is going to be structured slightly different. A lot of Troy's followers have an insane amount of questions. You sent them through to me yesterday, and he had to send them as a screen record because it would just be too many screenshots. And there are a lot of questions for us to get through. So this podcast episode is going to be structured more as a Q&A, and I may jump in there to pick your mind up, a little bit more. For those who don't know who Troy is, so Troy is the founder of Eye Candy Motorsports and ECM the label, which is a clothing company. What's the website for that? Is it ecm.com.au?
Yeah, so eyecandymotorsports.com.au.
Yep.
That's all the car related.
Yep.
And then ecmlabel.com, all the merch, the clothes, stickers.
Oh, just .com?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so and we're going to be talking about that more in depth as the episode, travels along. So we're going to start with the first question, which I think was like the most popular question asked, and that was how you got your start into this whole entrepreneurship thing, how you opened up your shop and how you got to where you are right now. So
Yep. So pretty much... Look, it wasn't a big goal to be an entrepreneur for me or anything. It all sort of fell into place. So working, your normal jobs like cleaning dishes and stuff at Hog's Breath, Autobahn, all that sort of stuff. But I just love playing with cars. So my weekends would just consist of me just lowering my car, doing something, whatever it is.
yeah.
Then you do something cool to your car and your mate's like, oh, I want that done to my car. Can you lower my car? Can you do this? Can you do that? And then it turned into mates and mates who I don't know, but I'd still do it because I just love doing it.
Just like as favors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe like get us a slab of UDLs or something, and, and then I just remember like looking in the garage, there's like 10 slabs of UDLs. I'm like, I'm going to have to like ask for like $50 or something,
Yeah.
I just started sort of asking for a bit of money just to get me by, for the randoms and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just got to the point where mum just tried to come home, driveways full, cars everywhere, bits and pieces everywhere,
Wow.
all randoms like at her house. She's like, oh, you got to get out. So I spoke to my old man. He has a franchise called Battery World, but it had like a workshop on the other half of it. So he just let me use that for a while. Same thing. He's like, my customers haven't got parking, this and that. And mind you, I'm just sort of like doing it at midnight or doing it during the day. Whenever someone wanted something done, I just loved doing it. So I didn't care. And that was a point that, I got a serious sort of talking to. And they said, look, you either can't do it from here or you got to go out and get a factory. And then I was like, no, don't worry about it. Then I'll just keep working my normal job and I'll just...
What else were you working?
So I was doing Autobahn, like selling car audio, and then I was like cleaning dishes at night at Hog's Breath Cafe because I was doing graphic design during the day a lot, so I couldn't get many hours in.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do a bit in, with Autobahn and then Hog's Breath and stuff at night.
So when it comes to like because most people know you for cars, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's doing, car raps that are just outside of, so creative and out there and all the cars that, we see on like your Instagram page driving around, like you're a car lover to, VTs and doing skids and all that sort of stuff. What was this like something like ever since you were young, you remember? Was it like a Hot Wheels or what was it that you just, when did you realize I just love cars so much and it just became like that passion was very clear?
It's funny because I've never actually thought about that. I just as you saying that though, I do remember like, because my dad always had cool cars. He was a mechanic and he always had cool cars and like my mates would be like, oh, can you get your dad to take me out in one of his cars and stuff? But I do remember when he used to like, he'd have like nice V8s and stuff like that. And I remember like when he'd take me for a drive and he'd like put the foot down, I just couldn't stop smiling, or like I'd just laugh and I'd be like, what the hell, why am I laughing? Like I just felt good, and I was just like, this is weird. Like, you know, I was too young to know what was going on.
Yeah.
But I remember I just love it. Like I just smile, you know, and then I don't know, ever since then I was just like, you know, he'd always have like all your you know, your car magazines and stuff, and I remember like going through them and like picking like what my dream car would be and this and that, and like, you know, like just starting to love cars really. But I just didn't know how much it was, and to be honest, I thought everyone was like that. So it was just like, it just was, it was pretty, for as young as I can remember, I just loved cars. So
it must have just been that feeling, like you just became addicted to that feeling.
Yeah, just as soon as someone rocked up in a new car, like my older brother might bring home a cool car, I'd like run out and just see it, you know, whereas other people who aren't into cars would just feel, not even look at it, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't realise at the time, but yeah, I was like, and then it got to like, I remember 14 and I was already on car sales looking at my first car, and my dad would be like, it's 4 years away. And like every day until I was like, you know, I was just looking at cars, and then, I guess so, as far as I can remember really.
So that actually takes us to another really popular question. Guys, for some of the more specific questions, I'm going to mention who asked them, but for some questions, they were asked like by 20 people plus. So I'm not going to like shout one person out and not say anything to others. But a really popular question was, what was your first car that you actually that you bought, and then which one you actually first started working on? Yeah.
Ironically, which sort of answers another question, is everyone always asks me why the VT thing. Why do I get VTs, smash VTs, do all the VT jokes? My first car was a VT, so it's just funny that like back then that was like a goal, you know, they were like maybe 15, 20 grand, and now we're buying them for $500 and smashing them. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's just, that's why the whole VT thing. But my first car was my mum's. She had the VT. Yeah. And then I just kept trying to like buy it off her and stuff. Yeah. And, you know, I was working like part-time with dad after school, just trying to put away any money I could. And I ended up getting mum's VT. So
it's so funny to me watching what you guys do with VTs and like the insane stuff. You like cut the roof off. And, you just do crazy. And it's like when you're driving this car that this VT and you're playing around with it, doing skids and you crash it, you don't really care. Yeah. It's literally like a toy. Yeah. You know, it's weird. It's like if you had, you know, toys and like, you know, you throw one off the roof, you don't really care what happens to it. Yeah. That's the way you guys treat it. It's just so much fun for you. Well, and it all comes back to then. Yeah. And I don't know, even like people go, because no one was really doing it, because they're like, who would buy a car and deliberately smash it? That's such a waste of money. But $500, I mean, it's pretty easy these days to go out in the city, get a big dinner, a few drinks, and $500 is gone. Yeah. Like, this is funny. Get all your mates together and have a laugh, and you know, it's something you can like film and like look back on. And I remember that spending $500 on a VT more than I've blown $500 on heaps of other stuff. So what I actually got a question from again, it was like one of the popular questions, because a lot of people face this when they get started into business. So you're obviously doing really well. Right, people. It kind of happened organically. It's actually the perfect word. You didn't force it. You didn't like say, I have a business idea and how do I get started? It just organically grew, and you were good at what you did. When you decided to really start to take it serious, right? Was there support there from like your social circle? Was there any doubt from like family or the social circle around you? And then how'd you deal with it if there was any? Yeah, so I guess there's different stages of your social circles. So for instance, when I first, you know, said to my mates back then, hey, I'm going to quit my job and just do this thing with the cars. Yep. You know, you get a lot of them just laugh and go, man, you're going to throw, like, you know, I'd drop out of graphic design, stop all like my part-time jobs and like go into that. And they're like, you know, you're an idiot. You can't just play around cars for the rest of your life. You know? So I lost a lot of friends there that like, you know, you'd expect them to be, but I guess same thing as being young, you know, I was probably about 20. So people haven't developed that mental thing to support friends and, you know, this and that, which is huge. So that was probably the first like cull. And then because I got into my own shop, had my own cars, then I got another group of mates who were into cars come hang around. And then, so you had that group, but then that was the first year of operating. So
couches everywhere. People just be like, you know, knock off. They'd finish their job, come to mine, knock off, have some drinks. You know, people be doing burnouts out the front, stuff like that. That probably went for about 12 months, and then I got to the stage where, you know, like I was getting a lot of harassment by police because people were doing burnouts and this and that. And that's where I sort of had to look at myself. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to actually make this a job and the rest of my, like, from a career, I need to stop the burnouts. I need to start getting, you know, I can't have like customers rocking up and people just chilling on couches, like, you know, drinking, smoking, this and that. So I need to say like, hey guys, like, maybe just come on the Saturdays, or, you know, this and that. Or
is that an awkward conversation? Or
I'm one of those people that like to avoid confrontation. So whenever I do something, it's like, I guess a bit more subliminal, like, you know. So I ended up moving factories anyway because I was getting a lot of harassment from the suburb that I was in from the police, which is fair enough. I was young and dumb and stupid. I was doing burnouts. If customers said, oh, can I do a burnout? Yeah, sure, whatever. And obviously all the neighbour factories, hey, they call the cops, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm like, you know what, fresh start. I'll go to Dandenong. Heaps of my mates who are locals then might be a bit further for them. You know, I got fresh, like, you know, neighbourhood. I'll start fresh. And that's a big thing. As soon as you start moving factories, there's nowhere to hang out. And then all those people that were hanging out every day aren't there anymore. You sort of look at yourself and go, oh, well, were they supporting me, or was it just a place for them to hang out and talk shit? So, yeah, so like, you know, you got the first cull, like from when you actually want to pursue something, then you start pursuing it. But because it's like not fully going hard at it, it's a bit more chill. You got that. And then every time I sort of step it up, you just sort of, your circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So...
See, okay, this is something I want to kind of dig deeper into, because I think like your followers would really appreciate it. It's like, it's not as easy as like, oh, someone tells you you shouldn't do something and then I did it anyways. There is like, there's a process to it. Like I remember the person who told me like, oh, you shouldn't start your tutoring agency back when I was 19. It played with my mind for like 2-3 days. I actually had to like work the courage up to pursue it. And I think a lot of people kill their dream there. So what was it for you that when you were hearing this doubt from or going through this and you were noticing that maybe the people around you weren't necessarily very supportive, or they were actually telling you not to go ahead and pursue this, what was it that clicked on your mind? What did you say to yourself to just kind of go anyways and just do it anyways?
Well, at the start, to make the first move, when, you know, it's like you can't play around cars, this and that, I was already too focused to play around cars. I'm like, well, I don't care if I'm going to be poor. I don't care. Like, I want to play around with cars. So
you just love to do it. Okay.
Yeah, I just love to do it. So that was easy, because I was like, whatever, I don't care like what you think, because or, you know, whatever you want to do for your job, I don't care. So just let me do whatever I want to do. And then I guess like getting more serious and moving forward with things. You know, people say, I don't know, because you got like everyone, different things work for different people. So I don't know, you got one side of your people, like we can all be entrepreneurs, but you got one side that watch them motivating videos where like, you got to get up at 3 a.m. while you're sleeping, someone else is making money, this and that. None of that went to me, because I don't want to get up at 3 a.m. I just don't. And the biggest thing at the end of it is all that motivational speak, and, you know, you could be earning this while you're sleeping. You do the, I was never in it for the money, so I couldn't relate to any of that. I was just super like love playing with cars and stuff, and if I got paid for it at the end, then that's cool. So I guess when people say don't do this, don't do that, you know, you got to be doing this, I just couldn't relate to it, because I just wasn't focused on the money, and I wasn't focused
because they're
on
telling you not to do it, because it's like, if you do it, you're not going to make any money, you're going to be broke, and you're like, well, I'm fine with that because this is what I love to do. So I guess the advice there, without kind of saying it, is like, just make sure that whatever it is you're trying to do, just love it, or love it to the point where it's not just about the money. That's a huge thing to get started into it. When people say, what made you do it? What, you know, so many questions, or how did you keep pushing through, and how did you do this, or how did it take off? Like, it all just came down to because I loved it. And because when you love it, you do a better job. And when you do a better job, people want to pay to get the better job. And as soon as anyone comes and talks to me at the shop, they can see that I'll care about their car. I'm not even caring about, even people come in and ask for stuff, and I'm like, nah, that'll look shit. and they're just even
like,
if it costs you.
I'm like, they're like, oh, you know, I want to put these stripes on the car or something. And I'll be like, that won't work on your car. And they just look at me like, dude, you just quoted me for $1,000 for them.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll do them. And then I've just told them not to. Like, I never come down to, you know, the dollar. And I think that's where your customer service improves. That's where people can see that. That's where your job's better. That's where your business runs better. Your creativity flows, like everything, because you're into it.
Yeah.
So if someone just looked at me and thought, which I probably do because my Instagram looks good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't post everything else on there.
Yeah.
But the way they see the Instagram, they're like, oh, this guy's living, you know, he gets to play with cars and do this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to give, you know, startup information, because as soon as I start talking to someone, they're like, oh, you know, how much money were you earning straight away and this and that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, man, straight away, if you're already asking me how much money I was earning, I'm like, you can go pour concrete for $3,000 a week.
Yeah.
Straight
Exactly.
up, you know, like if you want money, just go do that. Like, you know, you can't think like that.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's a huge like a false idea people may have about you, where you are right now, which is like looking at your Instagram, seeing all the nice cars, seeing the lavish lifestyle, like you going on holidays and stuff, is that it's really money driven, when that just kind of came, like you've always been super fun. Like I went back and watched your old videos, knowing that we were going to do this, and like, mate, you're the same. It didn't really change. Like, okay, now maybe the cars you're playing with are nicer, right? And the places you're going is a little bit more luxurious, but you were then, like, you know, very similar back then as well. Yeah. And it all came down to, like, you know, being super genuine. Yeah. It kind of goes into the next question, which actually came from a follower, and I'm gonna finally start shouting out followers. So at Just Josh, I'll ask that one a bit later. At Tim_Golder. So this guy asked, why do you think you are so successful in this area of work? So many others failed, but you're huge. You did kind of answer it, but just a bit more detail for the car wrapping industry, or the automotive industry.
I think a huge thing of it was, if you're following someone, you're already behind them. So if you're trying to see what's happening in the industry and copy that, it's too late. They've already gone out, thought of the idea, done it, and processed it and published it, and you're trying to copy that, you're way behind, because they've already done that and moving on to the next thing. So I think a huge thing for me when I was young, Dad said, oh, you know, you got to go to the States, go to Vegas, the SEMA show, see what they're doing there. Like, you know, the stuff they're doing is crazy, blah, blah. So it was really good. He got behind me and started supporting it, even though at the start, like, you know, even my parents didn't really want me to, like, dropping out of school and playing around with cars. But I guess he realised that I was just set on it. So instead of going against it, he decided to help me. So he's like, let's go to Vegas, let's go see what they're doing. And then that's when I went over there, seeing, like, every car was wrapped, you know, just crazy ideas. And then that's when I thought to myself, I'm like, shit, that's going to take off here. Like, there was a few wrap shops, but nothing like, I think there's like 15 in my estate now. So it's just insane how many people are doing it. So I'd always try and do stuff that was really weird or different. The biggest thing with that is anything that's weird, people get scared of, and anything people get scared of, they hate. So everything I did turned to hate. So
that's
there was
a good way to put it. I like that.
Everything I posted would just, people just rip on it. I remember like I had a mate who, he was getting his car right done from the start. His name's Jamie. He just, like, let us, the same as me, we just do the craziest shit. Like, you know, he had this car, and we did, like, gold tint on it, gold wheels, like, back, you know, that must have been 2012 or something. People were just, like, sharing it all over Facebook and going, you know, what the fuck is this? These guys have wrecked these cars, like, look at this. But, like, I was just watching the shares go up, and even though they were hating it, the shares were, like, going nuts. And so organically, I think in the first year or two, iCandy's Facebook page went to like 30,000 followers. Wow. But probably like 50% or more on hate. Okay. But for every person to share the hate, someone might see it and go, oh, that's sick. So I was getting, like, these messages like, hey, can I get the gold tint? And so here I am, like, down, like, oh my God, everyone's sharing this and hating it. Yeah. But then people are booking in for it. And that's when I learned, I'm like, you know what? They're just hating it because it's so weird. Like, you know, so I think that's a huge thing, to always just be ahead and innovative and stuff. And even if people are going to hate it because it's new and they stress out about it, and same thing. We wrapped all our cars, like we did like a GTR, Ferrari and Lambo and all that in the mirror gold. And like when I first did it, like everyone was like, what the hell, why would you wrap your car gold? Like, you know, you look like a sheik or something, you know?
From Dubai?
Yeah. And then like literally we did this video leaving Crown, and it went so viral. Like, you know, we had like all these rappers sharing it in the States, like Dub Magazine, like it just went viral around the world, all these European players, like got like millions of shares. And then everyone's like, oh, inboxing me, hey mate, how much for a chrome wrap? How much for this? After like everyone's like, what the hell would you wrap your Ferrari gold? Like, you know, shit like that. So, and then it just turned into like a good thing. So I don't know, if that's pretty much the best way I can answer that. You just got to be innovative, do whatever you want, whatever's going to scream for attention. If you're not in the spotlight, you never will be. But with jumping in the spotlight, you're going to cop shit.
And I think that's actually like such a great way to put it as well. And what I think a lot of people, the reason why people won't do this is because that hate, like not everyone can deal with that. Like that can 100%. really fuck with you, man. Like even as I've kind of like slowly grown, if someone will say a comment and I'm not used to it, maybe when it's an overwhelming amount of hate, you just like, you just kind of block it off. But it can get to you. You'll see that out of the 100 comments, you'll see that hate comment. It'll stand out.
Literally.
Now, what makes you unique in my eyes is that you are, you know, dealing with that quite regularly because you're so out there, whether it's your personal Instagram, whether it's the things that you get up to, which we'll get into a bit later, or it's for your actual business. When you do receive this hate, what do you feel? Like, do you feel those feelings too? And or was it at the beginning, or are you used to it now? And like, again, like what's your process to kind of just get through it and just go anyways?
There's a couple of things that stood out for me, like being young, I had a shop that I looked up to, so it was Queen Street Customs in Sydney. So those guys are a bit older than me, but the same thing, they were like way ahead of the game, doing just crazy shit back then. And I just remember like my dream car was like this 360 Ferrari, and when I was young, I must have been like 18 or something, 19, 20, when I was just starting. And they did this 360 Ferrari, like candy apple red, gold plated, all the engine components. Like it was like was something I could never have dreamed of, you know. It was just insane. And I was just reading the comments like, yuck, who the hell would respray a Ferrari, this and that. And I'm just looking, I'm like, you just, if people are going to be pissed off with that, you just can't, like everyone's going to hate something. Like to me, that was like the most perfect thing. And then even seeing the hate on that, I'm like, no matter what you do, you're just going to get hate. So ever since then, and I've just learned to deal with it. And then like, you know, like I went and saw Gary Vee, and he was talking about, you know, people being too scared to do YouTube stuff because YouTube's got such a high rate of like hate because people are behind a profile that has no picture and no, you know, you can't click on and go, who is this guy? It's just like a random thing.
True.
And he said pretty much the easiest way is, he says to his students, he's like, hate, you know, it's lonely being at the bottom sort of thing. And when you hate, it's because that's the easiest way to get a reaction off someone. And it's just because they're lonely and, you know, they want to hate on it. So you sort of write back, and whether it's good or bad and you're talking, they've got someone to talk to. And then, you know, they might go, oh, lol, 16 minutes 25, look at this idiot. And you're like, man, you've just spent 16 minutes 25 watching my thing and you hate me. So like, I'm not even going to reply to that because it just shows who you are and what you're doing. So I just learnt to just fully ignore it. Like since I just started the YouTube channel. And man, it's just like so savage. Like people are still like, oh my God, workshop full of kids destroying cars. You know, oh, look at that car, it's an abortion, this and that. I'm like, whoa. But I just sort of laugh. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not doing a YouTube channel now.
But on the flip side to that, like you probably see the hate, but I'm guessing you get so many. Even when I was looking through the questions, a lot of them weren't even questions. They were just people saying, mate, like, thank you, or, you know, like you're a sick cunt, or like, you know, I look up to you. So I think like, does that help, knowing that you've also got...
I know, like, if it was all just hate, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm doing something wrong. But there's a lot of good stuff. And then even the guys that hate, I'll just give them shit back. Like I won't hold back. And then like...
Even in your DMs, you respond to like haters in the DMs?
No, usually, I don't know. I'll just double tap it. Just so that I've seen it and just ignore it. But like even like the hate on YouTube and stuff, like because people like love reading comments on YouTube.
Yeah,
So I give them a bit of entertainment. I'll hail them back.
Yeah.
And even one guy I held back, and he's like, "Holy shit, you're actually funny. I've subscribed." Like I'm like, dude, you just held me.
Just like that,
and said my car was shit.
Yeah.
And then like I can't remember what I said, but I had to laugh at myself. I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Holy shit, you're actually funny." He's like, "Subscribed."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You just held me."
I love that, man.
So yeah, no, it's fine. If you can't deal with hate, you are. I don't know. You're never going to be in the spotlight because it would stress you out, you know.
Yeah.
So
a lot of your followers have got like heaps of like business questions as well.
Yep.
There are like a bunch of other small questions that you'll be able to get through quickly, but I did want to ask this. At just _Josh _A asks, what's the biggest mistake you've made in business and what did you learn?
I think a couple of things was not structuring the business properly. So I never came from a business minded background. I never. Man, I was.
When you talk about structure, you're talking like actual business structure, like
I was handwriting receipts 4 years in.
Oh,
like,
okay, all right.
Like,
wow.
Someone would say, "How much did you turn over this year?" I'll be like, "I don't know." I was going for loans, and they're like, "How much do you make a week?" I'm like, "This much, I guess." Like, people just ask me questions. I have no idea what my business is doing, how much it's grown, has it gone down, like. And that was even like 4 or 5 years in until I really had to like try and tighten things up. I was handwriting receipts. Customers might have picked up something and then like I wouldn't even know if they paid for it or not. And like, you know, I'd actually have to ask them like, "Did you pay that?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
You didn't even check your bank account?
Well, they're like, you know, they might have given me cash and then who knows where that goes.
Yeah.
And then I'll just, so now like, you know, that's one of my biggest things. I should have just paid someone just to, because that stuff gives me a headache when I think about paperwork and doing all that. Like it just literally, I'll just push it away. It's so important to, even if you pay someone X amount to put on, they'll save you that 10 times over doing, you know, proper tax returns, this and that. Yeah. So that's probably one of my biggest mistakes is that. Like,
ignoring that side of the business.
Yeah, look, I think...
I'm very similar to you, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm like that. Like,
it stresses me out.
I just want to work. I just want to grow my business. I'm just make people happy. I'm not that interested in like tax and all that. So what did you end up actually doing to solve it? Did you?
I got a bookkeeper, tightened up all the accountants, everything. I'd look, everyone always says, you know, like when people say, "Oh, what would you change? What would you do this?" Look, a lot of things make you who you are and you know, make you why you are. That thing, I can't really see a positive to it. I just probably burnt a lot of money. Okay. So that's definitely, I think, would call it an actual mistake. You know what I mean? Like that's like, if I could go back and fix it, I would have.
Okay. So. All right. I'm going to ask another one. All right. So this question was again by just _Josh _A. This person actually asked a lot of great questions.
Yep.
Who are your personal and business mentors?
Someone I looked up to, he's, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but yeah, his name was Johnny Danger. He was just like I
saw some questions about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was just a legend. He was just someone that like, you just check his story every day and he'd just make you laugh. He'd come up with funny shit. He was always partying. He was loose, didn't care what people thought of him, stuff like that. I really looked up to it, and I'm the same. Like, you know, people message me saying, you know, you made me laugh today. I feel good. I've been down and you've made me feel good. And that's what I like. And I that's what he did to me and stuff. So for me, I sort of like looked up to him and I just thought, you know, he's a legend. Like, he's funny as, doesn't care what people think, always makes people feel good. So, business mentor, like obviously, you know, ones like Gary Vee and
you like Gary Vee?
Yeah, I like, because
did you go to the when you came down recently?
There was two. There was one that was maybe a couple of weeks ago or whatever, but there was one like, I think it was 6 months ago, and I went to that one.
You went to that one?
Yeah. So just little bits I can take from him, like how, you know, people say, oh, he can never be a mentor because of the way he speaks and his foul language and stuff like that.
Because he's what?
Because he swears, you know, he'll just say whatever on the camera. And, you know, at the start I was doing a lot of like talking and videos and, you know, and then, you know, getting interviewed on stuff and I don't talk myself when I can't swear. So like, if it just rolls fluently off my mouth, you know, if I'm saying like shit, fuck, whatever, it just comes out nice. Yeah. As soon as I'm like trying to say a sentence and I'm like, I have to replace fuck with something. I'm like,
What do you
I start talking like a retard, and people are like, this guy can't talk. So
yeah.
when I watch him, and he's like, you know what? Who cares? If people don't like if you swear, then they don't
Fuck
have to
off.
like you. Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that I love, and it's very rare for a mentor because, as I said, they're usually like, you got to be up at 3 a.m. doing this. You got to do this. You got to do that. Whereas he's just talking like facts. Like, you know, who cares? Fuck this. Do that. Whatever. Like he's and because of the way he talks like that, it like gets. I can watch him for 2 hours without checking my phone or doing this. You know, like. I can actually focus on him. So, yeah, he'd be a huge business influence.
Okay. All right, beautiful. I'm going to go to another question. What's been, that's already been, so many business like challenge questions. I don't think we did. Would you put the whole, the mistake that you made as a challenge? Or did you want to actually answer that separately? Because someone
separate,
asked,
I guess.
Okay, so at mark.perez asked, what's your biggest challenge in business? How did you overcome it?
Yep. I think a challenge for me is the whole working out to be comfortable or becoming stale or pushing yourself, but then pushing yourself too hard, trying to scale accordingly.
Yeah.
So there'll be some times where, like, as I sort of said, I've never been in for the money, which can make you become like stagnant and just chill and comfortable. But at the same time, I like growth, but I don't like the stress that comes with it.
Yeah.
Easiest way for me is like, I don't know, when I was like younger, I was 24, yeah. So when I was 25, like my dream was to get a 360 Ferrari, which is another thing, you know, you go, your close mates laugh, call you dickhead, like, oh yeah, I'll just get a Ferrari too, thanks. Like, blah, blah.
You wanted to do that at 25, right?
Oh, I wanted to do it by 25, but I had that dream since I was 20. So could you imagine a 20-year-old growing up in Langwarrin and like, you know, no money? That's just like a laugh, you know?
I'm in Dandenong, so I feel the same.
Same shit. So my factory was in Dandenong at the time. You know? It was like a 100-year-old factory about to fall over and stuff. So, but yeah, I pretty much, I couldn't afford it. I got knocked back like 3 different times for finance, just kept trying, kept doing everything, putting bigger deposits in. And then like, you know, I got the car, which was huge because, you know, you just tick a goal off and stuff. But then, you know, the first like few months, I'm like, shit, these repayments are huge. Like, yeah, I could afford to put the deposit down, like, but I guess those 3 guys that knocked me back were sort of right. Like I can't afford it. Yeah. So that like, would push me out of my comfort zone and go, all right, I've got to work later. I've got to step up my social media. I've got to offer some more services. Like what other services can I do? Like, you know, because this is quiet. I can't just sit around. Like I need to be doing more things. So little stuff like that is a huge challenge to put you out of your comfort zone, make sure you expand and nothing puts you under pressure like when you're not going to make the requirements to pay your staff or your rent or, you know, your loans. Yeah. That's like, if all that's so cruisy, you can go, yeah, I need to step it up, but I'll do it one day. Yeah. Whereas when you're actually like, I'm not going to eat tonight, that's when you're like, holy shit, like you go into overdrive mode and say, like the latest factory I got was way too big for me, too expensive. But I needed a brand new premises to be getting like the Rolls Royces and the Hurricanes and all that sort of stuff in. So same thing, I moved into that and I felt sick. Like once I signed the lease and then decked it out and spent like big bucks on it and all that, like, you know, I was like, holy shit, if I don't step my game up, like I'm literally gonna fold, you know? So it makes you feel sick, but it's sort of good because it shows you when you want to go hard, how hard you can go. Yeah. If you try, if you put your mind to it. Yeah. So
your mind starts to like think of things that you wouldn't like pay attention to before, especially when it's either out of like massive inspiration, which was yours. Yeah. So people either like take massive action out of inspiration or desperation. Yeah. Either because you're inspired to get this Ferrari, so you start to think like, oh, how can I do this? And then your mind goes to business and online, and then you actually get started, or out of desperation where it's like, you sign your lease, you've got to make these repayments, you got to find a way to make it happen.
And it makes you feel sick, like it just takes over your body. Like I couldn't sleep at night, like because I was like. You know, even before I got the Ferrari, I couldn't sleep because I didn't have it. And then once I got it, I couldn't sleep because like, and the whole process and then signing the new shop and doing all that sort of stuff, it just takes over you and it just makes you like completely not be myself. Like I would never drive that hard. Like, you know, I might be working till 2 a.m. and then getting back up early and like doing those extra things where someone said, oh, can you do this? I'm like, nah, I'll be like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. Yeah. So, yeah.
There was another question. This one's actually for me. Someone asked, I just saw it just before. Where is it? Have you ever done a skid before, Leo, at Aussie.Burnout? I'm not like a skid person. I've never driven like a manual car. I'm not even sure how to do skids. It's not like my thing. Yeah. But when I first did start driving, this is a funny, I don't even know what happened. Maybe you could explain it to me. But I loved just going sideways in my car in the rain. Yeah. And what I would do is literally just kind of slow down and then just hit the accelerator and then it just turns. And I just felt this feeling and I loved it. My dad still to this day doesn't know what really happened. Yeah. So he's going to know now if he watches it. So what I did was, like an idiot, I was standing and I was about to go on the street and it was raining. And I put my car in neutral. Don't laugh at me. I have no idea how this works. I'm so dumb. I put my car in neutral and I revs. Yeah. And then I put it in D. Yeah. And then my whole car broke. Yeah. It proper broke. Like I heard crackling and the car wouldn't move anymore. And shit. I had no, and then like literally just like I just came to a standstill. And I remember feeling so much regret. And I was like so worried, like, what did I do? Because it was like something was broken. Yeah. And I don't know what broke. Was it like a diff or something?
A gearbox or diff or something. Yeah.
And it was like, it almost cost like what the car cost to actually repair it. So that's my experience with skids. Since that day, I have not attempted to do it. And it's been like 4 years.
Well, that's pretty much in like our terms, it's called neutral bang. So
neutral bang?
It's where you just hold it in neutral and you bang it in. So that's like something that you definitely don't do. But with these VTs everyone was laughing because I was just neutral banging them over and over.
Oh, okay. So then, I wasn't, all right. So my head was in the right space.
If you haven't got much power, you need to get the revs up so you can like, yeah. And then when I was like doing these neutral bangs in this VT, I was a bit excited and I missed neutral and went into reverse. So I was going like drive and smashing it in reverse. And then anyway, it just became a thing I'd do. And so I'd go like 80 Ks on the road and then smash it in reverse.
What?
And it would actually go in and just, I've got some good videos. Anyway, all these like dudes would watch me. And then anyway, my mate came into work. He goes, bro, you got to see this text from my dad's mate at work, blah, blah, blah. Like it was someone's friend's son who does whatever. Yeah. Anyway, he come into work and he was talking to my mate's dad. I don't know, whoever it was. And he goes, mate, he's like, can't fucking believe it. He's like, I brought my car and my son a car on the weekend. He had it one day and then it was on a tow truck. And I said, what happened? He said, I was driving and I went from drive and then I bashed it into reverse. And his dad goes, why the fuck would you do that? And he goes, oh, Choi Candy does it all the time.
No.
And then that's when I was like, I seen that. I'm like, holy shit. Like this kid's like good car that he's brought. I think it was like a nice car, like a Ute or something. Yeah. So that's when I actually thought, I'm like, you know what? I did like a little story. I'm like, hey guys, I don't recommend doing reverse into drive because you forget what influence you have. Like we're doing it as a joke. Yeah. But, you know, if I was young and I was seeing it all the time, and to be honest, I had a good run in it. Nothing ever broke. Like I'd do the same car reverse to drive like 20 times, like these VTs. You can't kill them. And wow. So they've probably seen it and it doesn't break and they're like, you know what? So I did a little thing. I'm like, yeah, don't do that. It's just funny that you did that. And then, I do that too. But yeah,
literally it broke. Like I heard a break and then,
it's all over.
And then I just heard crackling of metal. I don't know what I heard. And then I still maintained to my dad. I'm like, I don't know what happened. And it just happened. And my dad's like, you tried to do this. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm still maintained it. So Dad, I'm sorry for putting you through that. I've come clean right now. I can feel like it's a weight lifted off my shoulders. Okay, so this question was so popular. I kind of understand it, just looking at like the follower base, but I still don't. Why were so many people asking if you're going to open up a shop in Queensland? Brisbane was popping up so many times. And are you ever thinking about opening up a shop down that way? Sorry to cut you off. I just want to shout out the person at ryan.baker for asking that question. Yep.
So I was gonna do a shop in Queensland years ago, until I realised how poorly structured my business was.
Okay. Yeah.
So for instance, if I was up in Queensland and I needed to check what my shop had done for the day, what had done this, that, it just couldn't be done. So I went up there, registered the business there, registered a couple of my cars there because I was gonna like do a sick wrap on them, take them up there for like an opening and all that. started looking at factories, and then like, I just had a good talk to my dad, and he's like, you'll be chasing your tail, there'll be problems there, then you'll fix that, and then you'll go back to Vic and fix the ones there. And he's like, just focus on getting your shop right, and sort of listen to him there. And so look.
So it's not been on your mind, but probably.
You know what I thought? It's more of a personal thing. I'd love to like say go up in winter, enjoy the good weather, do 6 months there, 6 months down here, 6 months there, and sort of skip winter a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
weather's beautiful up in Queensland.
Yeah, so it could still happen, but it might be a year, it might be 10. I don't know. It depends when if everything happens, right place, right time. If you feel good about it, go for it. So
you've because of all the things that you've done, whether it's the car wrapping, but more so because of the just being loose and just doing whatever you want and really having fun with your life. It's gained the attention of some people who really look up to you and find your stuff hilarious and you make people happy. Yeah. But it's also caught the attention of the media.
Yeah, it has.
Especially a current affair who just loves a good, Hoon story. Or,
they do.
Oh my God. And so someone actually asked at Yo Jozzle, at Yo Jozzle, how do you deal with so much negativity from the media? So tell us about the whole current affair story, like how they even approached you, like what happened there, and how do you kind of like deal with it, because they chop and change things, and I'm sure what you thought was gonna kind of happen was not what turned out.
Yeah. So I'll try and shorten it down, but keep the important stuff in. Pretty much they rang me. They didn't say they were from Current Affairs. I was Channel 9. We're doing a thing for Australia Day, but all the good things Australians have done, and we've seen you done all the stuff for the farmers and like mental illness and stuff like that. Yeah. So we want to come interview you. And I was like, sweet. This is like my big break to like get the message out there and try and help these farmers and, spread awareness and this, that. And then they rocked up, and I don't watch like TV, so I just didn't recognize anyone or anything. And I was just sort of talking to them, and they started off, they're like, oh yeah, you do the charity raffles, and like, oh yeah, how do you sell tickets, like blah blah, and how do you get awareness? I'm like, social media. And then they're like, oh, with your social media, do you post all good things on there? And I was sort of like, okay, where's this going? And they're like, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, did you put a jet ski in a pool? Could you have killed someone? And like all this. And I was like, what the fuck has this got to do with like the farmers and shit?
No way.
And then as soon as they started like talking about that, I guess I tried to answer as best I could, but it doesn't matter, like, because they just chop it up anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it just all comes down to like, TV's dying. They need clickbait to put on Facebook and Instagram. They'll just pick someone with a bit of a following, It was clickbait. Like you seen, I don't know if you saw that ad. It's like, dirt bikes and jet skis going in pools and burnouts and stuff. Yeah. Like anyone's going to click and go, what the hell is going on here? I haven't seen a pool and a jet ski in a pool and stuff like that. So look, it's just a sad way to try and get some clickbait, try and boost their stuff. But for me, I guess the saddest bit was they could have done a really good story on the farmers and what we've done and how the charities work and the amount of like the money we've raised and like it was just a bit of a waste of resources for their view count and stuff. They could have got I guess a lot of the older generation would they get the message through to them too. So that sucks. but that's all like you said it earlier on. You said you can't really regret anything because everything makes you who you are in a sense. Well, that was probably the first time I thought, shit, I saw the preview and I'm like, this is going to hurt, Okay. That was the first time I've ever like cared about negative feedback from someone else. Within the first 5 minutes of the preview being up on like a current affairs page, I went on there and there was just like thousands of comments and every single one was like, fuck you, current affair, user sad, shit story, he's a good bloke, he's done this, he's done that. Don't get me wrong, at the very end, it was like 15 seconds like, oh, and he's donated to charity. So like to try and cover their ass. Yeah. But like everyone saw straight through it. So I was like, whew. I was like, because it was like first time it was like a 15-minute segment.
What's
just
happening
on me.
to your phone when something like this happens? Like in terms of just notifications,
just like every phone call, message.
You're getting phone calls too that you have to do.
Yeah. I just go into shutdown mode. I'm like, whoop, turn it off. I'm like, shit. So I'm gonna speak to.
Okay, so when that happens, who's your go-to? Who do you go to like kind of not de-stress, but like talk to during? Is it like
probably like my missus. Yeah. She's really good. Like she always like, lets me do what I want and sort of supports me there. And then, a few close mates, like I'll just say to them, honestly, what does it look like? And then straight away, like probably 3 out of 3 of them, they're like, man, I just watched it. You look like a sick cunt. So I was like, oh shit, that's all right.
Not bad,
yeah. They're like, bro, it's just like you partying. Yeah. Like it makes me want to go out and party. Yeah. So I was like, all the worry went away in like the first 5 minutes. But there was like a really quick 15-second ad and it said tonight, 7 p.m. Yeah. And that ad, it was like, Australia's biggest bogan like tries to kill people on jet skis. I was like, ooh, this is pretty full on. Oh, no. And then as soon as I spoke to a couple of mates, my missus, and then like I saw the feedback. I was like,
people are over a current affair in their own stories. You see that in the comments heap. So
I got a huge like my following went up like I think like 5,000 on the first night, and then like heaps of people like commenting my photos like, hey bro, just seen you from a current affair, keep it up. Like shit like that. Yeah. So like it pretty much worked. I can't believe I was stressing about it because if anything, it worked really well. So yeah.
So blessing in disguise in a sense.
Yeah.
But then again, like you'll find a way to kind of make any negative situation positive. And you are. And the thing is, there's something which I've kind of realized as I've like looked into like what you do more is like what you are when you like the first impression and then you water it down. It's like when you water it down, the person that's remaining, which is you, like your real, like the real self is just someone who loves cars, is a real hardworking entrepreneur. Anyone who doesn't think that, there's just no chance you would have been able to have the success that you've had if you didn't go through those sleepless nights and ridiculous amount of hours. I just know, I believe it. I believe that you're super, super hardworking, like think outside the box. Otherwise you couldn't have been in this position.
Yeah, you can't get it given to you. Like you can be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You can come up with a cool brand name. You can come up with something that works.
Yeah.
That'll help you, but nothing will boom if you don't like put your life into it. You know, like don't get me wrong, like as soon as I realized that this was my thing, like I got like the ECM tattooed on my wrist.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of tough times where I'm like, oh, what the fuck? What am I going to do? And then I start thinking, oh, could I work for someone else and stuff like that?
Oh, okay.
And like I literally would just look at that and be like, no, this is into the end.
Wow.
Like, and that's what that tattoo sort of symbolizes. Like it's on me for life. So is the business. Like, so a couple of times I did get tough, and then I'll just like, I put my whole life into it. So
how do you typically respond when things get like really tough, or like when you kind of feel that that
sickening
feeling? I know, like when you said sick, I'm like, oh, I can relate to this. Like, you actually feel sick, like you're just like, and how do you react to that?
I don't know. I'm very big believer in keeping positive because it's just not healthy if you don't, and you might not get through things if you don't. Like if you just think, this is going to happen, this is fucked because that's going to happen, and you just start doubting, it's not going to work on fixing the problem. So you got to think positive. What can you do? What can this? But there's definitely times where, I've thought, fuck, it's over. Like,
you've actually thought that?
Yeah. Like, I remember like when I got the Ferrari, I realized I couldn't pay for it, sort of thing. I'm like, I had a ute. I can't remember a car that like a work car I had. I'm like, shit, you know what? I'll just sell that and I'll just drive around like a little shit car for a bit. And then so I sold that on the Friday, and then I put the cash in a safe. And then that night, someone broke in and took all that cash, and that was like my last money to my like name. So, the boys rang me in the morning like, oh, we've been broken into. I was like, oh, yeah. And then I remembered the safe, and I was like, nah, surely not. I'm like, they're like, there's literally everything's fine. They're like, there's a safe upside down in the office. And I was like, fuck off. And they're like, yeah, it's open. I'm like, fuck's sake. So I remember that was like one time where I was like, I actually don't know what I'm going to do. And, I'm like, I'll just work back after hours. So I'll do all my admin during the day. I'll get on the tools at night, I'll step up the bookings. And I was working there like late, and it took me months to catch up, and like I was just starting to catch up, and then like 1 a.m. I was like, I just left my shop and I was going through I got a green arrow, and just as I went through, this car came through flying like 100k an hour, T-boned me.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, right. And then like I broke my hand and shit, rode the car off, and all this shit happened. I didn't get paid out. It was a brand new car under finance, but because the guy was in a stolen car and all this crap, like he was stolen and whatever, he did a runner, never got caught, and like then I'm just like, God, man, I've been working the last like this many months to catch up, and now I've just gone back even more and paying off a car and this and that, and yeah, that sucked, especially like, and then there's just little things that sort of kick your way down, like police were just around the corner because it was near a Dandy station, so I was on that Hammond Road intersection there. And then police rang over. I'm like, fuck, thank fuck. Like, they can sort this out because I can't be fucked. And like, I didn't realize because I had so much adrenaline, but my hand was like, my fingers were all snapped and stuff because the airbag put it into the window.
Oh my God.
And I just remember just going, fuck, I can't be fucked dealing with this. And then the cops rang out. And then straight away, like, what'd you do? I'm like, I was just driving. They're like, you know, I just saw like a young guy, tattoos, nice car, all this. And they're just straight away just going like, drilling me. And I'm like, oh, I think you should go see the other guy because like the guy was doing 120 for a red, like something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we'll get there in a minute, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, where are you from? What's this? Like your license, blah. I'm like, can you just go see the other guy?
The guy pulled over at this point?
He was down the road. Okay. Like I think he'd hit me and he spun my car around a couple of times and then tried to drive off, but it didn't make it. And then while they're still questioning me, I saw him like getting in the back and putting a jacket on. I'm like, you should go get him right now. And they'll fully ignore me, just like, yeah, mate, we'll get there in a minute. And then it wasn't until a pedestrian ran up and they're like, the other guy's running off. So they chased him and then they just come back like, oh, we couldn't catch him. He was too fast. But we'll get him later. And then they never got him. It was stolen car, stolen plates, stolen, like, you know, everything. And then I was just like, this is fucked. I'm like, that's where I was like, you know what? If I was working for someone else, I wouldn't care about all this shit because I don't have to deal with it. I don't have bills to pay. Yeah. And I was like, you know, if I was going to work 9 to 5, what would I do? And shit like that. You started
considering?
Yeah. I was laying in hospital and I was like, fuck, and you know, what can I do for work? And I don't know. That's the same thing. I just look at my wrist. I'm like, nah. I'm like, I can't imagine not working on cars. You know what I mean? Like,
comes back to that passion, that love thing.
Yeah. So like the same thing that gets you through everything, and there's those tough times and what you do. And if I just went into a negative mindset, like, you know, I started veering off into it going, oh, I'll give up. What can I do for someone else? And I just think, nah, there's a way, you know. I've got close mates who I know I didn't have to go down there, but I know there'd be close mates next to me that would help me out with money. There's a will, there's a way, like, you know, but there's tough times. So
what'd you do to kind of like get back after that?
It was pretty hard, especially like now I couldn't be on the tools either.
Because your hand's broken, yeah.
Yeah, so started doing extra stuff on the side, like, you know, say I'll find a car for $5,000. I know I could take it to the shop, get the boys to do a bit of stuff on it, sell it for 10.
Oh, okay, cool.
So like, you know, I flipped a lot of cars on the side, even wheels. Just people go, oh, do you want my wheels? I've scratched them, whatever. I'll just get them, fix them up, sell them. Like just working, doing that on the side, Gumtree ads, like just hustling like hard.
You defaulted to aggression. That's literally like how to sum it up.
Yeah.
Like you default to aggression. I fucking love that. That explains it. Like there was an idea, I can't even remember who I heard it from, and he's just like always, and I've always preached this, is like just default to aggression. Shit goes wrong, get aggressive, work more, do more, you know, think more. That's honestly like just the best way to sum it up. Like you just figured it out. You found a way.
I guess it does. It comes to a fork in the road, and you either, that negative thing is going to go, all right, I'm negative, I'm fucked, I've got to give up, you know, I'll do this, I'll do that. Or if you're going to go positive, you got to do something about it. Yeah. So you just come to a fork in the road, and that's just where, if it wasn't my passion, and say I'd seen someone with a successful car shop that I loved and I'm going to copy it, that's where I would have gone left, because I go, fuck it, it's not what it's cracked out to be, this and that. But because it was my passion, that's what made me take the right turn. So yeah, I guess that's a...
Well, thanks for sharing all that, man.
No, that's all. I've never talked about that, so... Well,
it's a No Limits podcast, so, you know, this is like the beauty of this, man. Like, I'm not an interviewer. Like, I don't do this for, like, this isn't my job. Like, I'm an entrepreneur who loves talking to others, because and this is like something I'm incredibly passionate about, is just there's what you see on the surface, and then there's the fucking reality of what happened behind the scenes. And I know people, like, especially for you, even for me, but more so for you, because you've got such a large following, and like maybe what may get people interested in you is like how loose you are and like your crazy parties, and it's like, but do you know what this person had to kind of go through in the back end, and I love that, and thanks for sharing that, man.
No, that's all right. Like, as I said, Instagram always looks good, and even some people don't like Instagram because they're like, oh, it's all the highlights, it's fake. But that's not a bad thing, because I don't really want to. Some people don't really want to go on someone's Instagram and see them like just constantly going through shit and stuff. It's like it can sort of put a weight on your shoulder. You're like, oh man, I was having a good day, and then I found out this guy just got robbed and hit by a car and this and that. You know. Yeah. So don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with posting the real stuff on Instagram. But I just see Instagram like a highlight reel. So even for myself. Yeah. So, I love going back through my old photos. I'm like, man, that day was sick. That day was sick. I remember that. Like, I literally went through my Instagram, and I got this weird thing where it's funny because heaps of people always go, 1,000's post, but I keep it on 1,000. Like, I noticed that as well. The OCD. I was gonna message you and I'd be like, congrats on 1,000 posts. Everyone does.
And then I realized it was there for a while. I'm like,
It's like if it's 999 or 1001, it just shits me. So I go through and I'll just delete stuff that isn't actually a memory. So if it's just like a photo of like, I don't know, just some gangster photo, like a leopard on a Rolls Royce in Dubai, I'll just delete it. It's not a memory to me. It's not, So everything in there's almost, I've nearly deleted them all, but they're all just like sort of memories and stuff. So yeah, keep it like that.
So the big question, are you going to crack 1,000 plus?
No,
you're going to have to, man.
Oh no, it's going to get tight. I think I'll have to get stricter and start archiving memories that aren't as other people won't understand. So so something that a lot of people won't know about you is that you're actually big into visualization, right? Into the law of attraction and stuff. And when that started, and like, do you still do it? And what's involved in it? Just kind of like briefly talk through the process. Super quick.
Because you wouldn't expect it. Like, your audience maybe be like, oh mate, skids this, and it's like, wait, no, like I can actually be this. But also I need to visualize my life and what I want to do, and then work towards it. So I'd love for you to talk about it.
Pretty much, like, I think I was going through some rough stuff, like school and getting my license, and I can't remember. I had no money. Like, I had to go get my VT, put on gas because I couldn't afford the petrol. And I was driving to uni, and I was in Chadstone, and I was like, I was just hating life. Like, man, I remember like waiting till 3 o'clock so the stunner deal would start, so that I could afford to go to Hungry Jack's and get like,
the stunner deal,
you know what I mean? Because that was like $4.95 and it was so much food. Whereas if I ate early, I'd be hungry later, so I didn't have enough money to like do it all. So I'd just wait till 3. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go. I remember one time just waiting out. It was like 2:58, and I was like waiting in front of Hungry Jack's. I'm like, hurry up. So I mean, I was just hating life. You know, like they say money doesn't make you happy, but I don't know. When I'm waiting out front of Hungry Jack's for a $4.95 meal, I was like, money would make me really happy right now. So I was just hating life, and I was really lucky. Mum just handed me this book, and Mum's like, not spiritual, but like she's like, into all that sort of stuff. So I don't know what the word is. Yeah, she gave me The Secret, and she's like, I read this. I think you need to read it. Which is funny because I don't read. Like, I never read books. And I read it, and I couldn't put it down. Then after that, I really tried to like apply myself to it, because some people read it and go, okay, I'm thinking positive. Oh, well, I don't have $1 million. That sucked, but I actually I'm like, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to like visualize this stuff. And I had like my GDO coupe that I've still got now. That was like a huge goal for me when I was like 14, 15. I always wanted GDO coupe. Same thing. Everyone laughed, gave me shit. They're like, they're 50 grand. Like, as soon as I was off my P's, my goal was to get, that was my first V8.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, in believing it, just too many like crazy right place, right time stuff happened that it just too early on. Yeah. Real quick one, I wanted this convertible Merc, way out of my price, this and that. I don't know. I just like, when I was laying in bed, I thought about where would I drive it if I had it. Like, I was picture going down Beach Road. I made playlists on my phone that if I had that I'd already have the playlist like on a CD. Yeah. This and that. Like, I pictured it hard. And then one popped up at the auctions, And then I went there, looked at it, and then it was like half the price, and no one bid it on it. And I was like, I bid on it, and I was like, oh sweet, that was easy. And then like some guy come up to me, he's like, oh, you know, like the roof doesn't work. It's like 18 grand to get fixed. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, because the convertible roof mechanism was stuck.
That's why.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. So I went up, I'm like, oh, can I get my money back? And they're like, oh, we can, but it's like 20% deposit, this and that, like that you lose for bidding and not going through with it.
Yeah.
Same thing. I had no money back then. So I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you know what? I'll sort it out. There'll be a way. Like they say 18 grand, but maybe that's if you go to Mercedes, this and that. And long story short, just picked it up, went past the older mate's house that had a few of them in his time. I'm like, man, I finally got this car, the fucking roof doesn't work, blah, blah. He's like, is the tray closed in the back? He's like, there's a sensor there that if the tray's not closed, that won't do it. And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, he clipped it, and then I just opened it and it worked. And I was like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. You know, I was just like, what the hell? Yeah. So like stuff like that. So you
pretty much just made like 20 grand or something like that. Probably, like essentially just by solving that in a way.
Yeah. And same thing with my GDO. They were 50 grand. And then somehow I found this one for 30 in Queensland, and then like got her down to like, I think I paid like 27 for it. And same thing, like this crazy story where like some guy sold it to her with a dodgy roadie. She got knocked back on the roadie because they took all these parts off the car. She couldn't afford to get it roadworthy. And then I'm like, I'll just grab it and do it myself. And like, and when it came up, I didn't even have the money. I got a full loan for it, and then just got it. And I just worked it out when I got back. I was like, holy shit. Like I need to sell everything. Like I sold, like I had a couple of cars, sold like some wheels, sold like, you know, oh, don't need the Xbox. See, like anything I could get, I just sold it to get it, but I got it. And like, they're just like, I could never repeat it. Yeah. And I think like, yeah, I don't want to sound too spiritual, but yeah, the whole like universe, if you believe in it and you put stuff out there, it won't give it to you directly, but it'll like move things around so that you can be in the right place at the right time if you believe it. So there's a million stories I could go on that's proven it for me. Yeah. So yeah, I heavily believe in it, and to this day I still do a new, like one of them visualization boards like every 6 months now. Yeah. Like I do one, put all my goals on there. My favorite quotes, like, you know, cars that I want, houses, holidays. And the thing is, because I don't do them like cut out by hand and stick them on, I do a file and then print it off in one piece. I've got all the files to look back on, and it's freaky. Like, because
you would have achieved all
there is like the cars, the same color, the same year, the same, like the things that were on the photo that I got, and I didn't even realize till I look back on it. Like it's just
the secret. Look up Law of Attraction on YouTube if you haven't already, and just believe it. Like even if you don't think it's like, if you think it's a coincidence, it's still better to think positive.
Yeah, it's not too, but it's just worked too well for me to not believe it. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'll tell my mates. I won't sit there and drill them and be like, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'll just sort of tell them and they can take it or leave it. But for me, that's what's like changed my life. So, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, man. All right. Yeah. So I hope your followers and even the people who ask questions on my thing, they get too angry because we haven't been like smashing, because you get into a conversation, you know what I mean?
And it's interesting.
But I know that they'll still like it, especially with some of the things I mentioned. So what we're going to do is I'm literally just going to ask a bunch of questions, shout out a whole bunch of people, and we'll try to like, for you to like get through them as quick as possible.
The biggest thing was I was just, when I did the original Q&A on my phone, trying to type people and give them a good response. And then people were like, oh, that was a pretty shit reply. I'm like, man, I'm trying to answer 1,000 questions by typing, like, you know. So I'll try and just like smash them out as best we can.
All right, let's do that. All right. So, okay, I'm just going to go to the like smaller questions. Okay, how do you find VT Commodore so cheap, and just to send it for the weekend by Ethan_Insta? Yeah, just Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. Just tell someone, set your budget $500, get all the boys to chip in. It's like $125 each and done. That's it. All right, by Mr. Dow, Troy teach Leah how to snorkel. Don't have a drink here, but I definitely eat head straight, bottle straight up, and done. All right. So, by @MarkMakery, how did the snorkel start? So there's a bloke in New Zealand. Yeah. We were in crib. So he was, so there was like, as I said, Johnny Danger, he was doing the Danger swig. And then, one of the boys showed me, William in New Zealand. And I just remember, I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, I messaged him, like, bro, I'm going to start
in Australia. Like I'll get it started.
Yeah.
And then literally it was Australia Day that I started it. And the next day it was on a current affair. And then it was in the Herald talking about snorkeling.
Yeah.
And I remember sending it to him
Yeah.
and he's like, what the fuck? One day and it's in the fucking paper and on the news. So yeah, that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's cool. All right. By @Kookabuddha, what age were you when you first did your first skid?
Yes, I don't want to set a bad example, but I was taking out mum's car when I was like 16. I'd just find some dirt roads and be like,
So, but you don't condone it.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't condone it.
At Riley Dempsey, VT or the miso?
Skip.
Skip.
No, I love you. That was to the VT.
At Dan Turner 6972. When's the next vlog, man?
So I got some crazy shit that we've filmed, like even our old America trip, some trips to Mildura, a lot of crazy stuff going on. I'm trying to get it out, but we're also about to launch a new website, new business, new like big venture I've been working on for the last 12 months.
Yep.
So I will hopefully this week we'll be launching.
Oh, okay. That's
so
exciting,
all the
man.
focus has gone into that. It's
Okay.
just like everything's going into that at the moment. So
to come after this launch. All right, cool. All right. What is your favorite car of all time?
Oh, if money wasn't a thing, I just love like the Coens eggs. They're mad. But then I guess favorite car like that is just around us all the time. I just love a VF GTS. Like they're just, I don't know. I had one and probably the best car I've ever had. So
Yeah. Someone actually asked as well, what was the best car you've ever wrapped or your favorite at Sam Jarvis?
Yeah. My mate Chris Shao, he's got a Aventador, and we did it like this mad, like matte chrome purple. Like it just looked like something off like Batman or something. It just looked nuts. So I remember like looking at that.
That was your favorite?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Yeah.
So something we didn't really go into depth in, and we won't go too in depth so we can answer these questions, is actually you've expanded on ECM and you've started a clothing company, which is what you're representing right now. But so someone asked at ZXCH, which I'm guessing is Zaki, where do you see yourself with ECM in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'd like to be purely out of the business.
Yeah.
But still advertising it, content creating, pretty much not locked into being at that address.
Yeah.
But still like I love working on the business, but just from any country, any place, creating content. So that's a huge thing for me. And then the label that my partner, she's taken over. She's growing that really big. So hopefully that gets a lot bigger, and that's probably like the next sort of like 5-year goal. 10 years, I haven't thought that far ahead.
Not that far.
Who knows? I love the journey.
Yeah.
So I'll set goals, but you just got to enjoy the journey as it goes. So
what was the longest skid you've ever done?
When Johnny Danger passed, I like wrapped the side of it in like a rest in peace.
Yeah.
Danger. And I was like, I'm just going to keep going until something breaks. Like before I even started the skid, I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. And then, I end up blowing the tires, but I sort of kept going and I think I blew my engine or something. So,
So how long were you doing it? Like minute? Was it like a minute?
I don't even know. It felt like forever. I remember I just couldn't see because there was just like
so much smoke.
That was probably one of my bigger ones.
What was at Kids Slid? What was your proudest achievement over the years besides the company?
That's I love doing the first raffles that we pulled off successfully and like handing over a check, and we did like a 250 grand check for men's mental illness and stuff like that. Like,
wow.
That's a pretty proud moment.
Yeah, you're not as like with comparative to wherever else you kind of advertise, not as vocal about all the incredible charity work you guys are doing. To tell us like briefly about that. How can people support it? How much money you guys have raised? What's it for?
So we've raised, last time I checked, they said we've done about 1.96 million. So that's
wow, man.
That's including,
That's
so
insane.
we got to take the cost of the car out and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's a lot. Like we've done like men's mental illness, we've done fire relief. So like, when all the local fires were up at like the Dandenongs and stuff, and we've done drought relief. So yeah, we pretty much, we'll just get a car, bring everyone along for the journey, start to finish, modifying it, talking about it, buy a ticket, the money goes to charity, we give the car to someone. Yeah. So that's even awesome, just giving someone the car. Yeah. It's like some crazy car and they've like paid $25 for it. It's awesome.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, the money, it's good for everyone. Like get to hand over a car.
Are you doing any events in the upcoming future where you can support?
Yeah, we got some more coming up. We haven't officially, because everything's got to be, because it all gets audited. You have to lodge for all your permits, different states, like everything. It all has to be done. Yeah. So I can't even say a date because if I don't get approved on that date, then
where could people what can people do to stay up to date with it?
Our biggest things would be on the Instagram and Facebook. So
yours,
Eye Candy and mine. So as soon as the raffle goes live, we'll post it up there. So yeah, and it's a good thing because even if they don't win the car, they know we've been able to do some crazy stuff with the money, like supporting some awesome charities. So
that's awesome, man. I like that. What's one thing you wish you knew when you first started ECM at David Tidder?
Yeah. Probably touching back to like the structural side, business things. Also, I probably, not that I regret it, but I could have expanded and done better a lot quicker if I wasn't fucking around, like doing burnouts and taking the piss. Yeah. But at the same time, it's all part of the journey. Yeah. I had fun. So yeah.
What advice do you have? This is at Philip MCC. What advice do you have for someone starting their own shop? Don't. So they're not a competitor.
Nah. Look, as I said, you can go two ways. If you want to do it for the money, I can't give you huge advice on that. If it is your passion, pretty much the way I did it is make sure you're working, you got some income coming in, you can support yourself. And you just have to grind hard in those extra hours, do your Sundays, come home from work at 6 and then jump in the garage and start teaching yourself, start, maybe make a Facebook page and Instagram page, start booking in cashies from home and trying to start off small. I definitely wasn't a person that just went, got a $100,000 loan, signed a lease, put in hoists and stuff. The first year I was working on the ground under cars and then I slowly got some more tools and a more hoist and I didn't just jump in. So for me, my advice would be, just start off small and slowly work into it. But I mean, someone else's advice might be go get a $100,000 loan, deck out a factory, deck out your advertising, deck out this. But for me, that's a lot of pressure. So I guess there's different ways you can look at it.
Yeah. You came from a really organic startup. So that's naturally what you're going to lean to in terms of advice. Someone asked a really general question and that was, what, I have a product, how do I sell it?
Yeah. I guess what I learned this off Gary V's, we can all have the same product as how you market it. So, you might not have the best product in the world. You don't have to think of a new product. You just got to make sure that you can market it better than the other person. If they've got shit photos, take better photos. If they've got a shitty website, make a better website. Put it out there. If they're not getting it out there enough, get it out there. So,
So from a strictly marketing standpoint, with everything you've tried with ECM, what advice do you have for people trying to market? Is it just to be super creative, which is what you mentioned at the beginning, or is there an actual?
I don't know. See, I was always worried about being in the spotlight, hurting my business. So say if I swear or this guy's getting drunk and doing this, or I was like, shit, that's gonna hurt my business. And then the more and more people I just talk to, they're like, nah, that's why your business is doing well, because those people are coming to you because they like that and stuff like that. So, there's even been times where I thought, I hope I haven't hurt a relationship with this customer. But we do all Mercedes-Benz factory work for all their brand new cars. We do, I get guys come in Sam Newman and stuff like that. People, I was say when a current affair happened, I was like, oh my God, he's definitely not going to come into us anymore. And then he ended up coming in like a week after. He's like, fuck, they ripped you. So, you know, like in your head, you're, oh my God, this is like so bad.
Yeah.
And you stress about nothing. And then, so I don't know, you can just go out there and get out there and, you know, do what you want to whatever.
Just be kind of free with it. Is like,
there's no like guidelines, I don't think.
Yeah. So at Oscar Letland.
Oh, what did he say?
All right. So first question is, when Oscar beat you in his GTR, were you disappointed or really impressed?
The only thing I'm disappointed about is like, you know, someone that's turning over 62 million years just got that sort of time to ask silly questions like that. So
yeah. There's a lot of debate about who won that race. Yeah. On a scale from 7 to 10,
that's a pretty high scale.
Yeah, I know. He just assumed. How intimidated are you by your sister's boyfriend?
Look, at the start, I might not have been a fan for it, but then as that, you know, anyone who's sort of earning that sort of money is welcome to marry into my family.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. All right. So, if there was any other, if you wanted us to keep like going through the questions, I can pull some more up. But I'm happy to finish it on this one, which is when we've been going for a solid hour now.
Yeah.
At Dylan Epifano, and that is, how did you go in your schooling years, and what's your thoughts on kids dropping out?
Yeah. Probably like majority of most of my mates and most of the guys that are entrepreneurs, like probably all guys that have sort of dropped out early. I didn't need to be in school for the last couple of years. Like, you know, I think you got to go to school and learn to be somewhere and concentrate for 9 till 6 and get in the habit of getting up, being on time somewhere. You know, it teaches like your basics like punctuality and that. Unless you really do want to be a doctor or do something, I don't think you need to know algebra and how to use a Bunsen burner and stuff like that. Yeah. So,
Bunsen burner.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in ages.
I just remember just going, why the fuck did I learn this? But I think you got two ways to look at it. I probably stayed in school to the end of year 12 because I enjoyed it and I liked, you know, stuffing around with my mates and that. And it probably kept me out of trouble, you know, just not being at school.
Yeah.
But then I got mates that, you know, became bricklayers and stuff like that at 16, and it gave them a huge head start. By like 18 qualified, and by 20 years old had a really big business with a lot of guys under him. So I don't think I think, you can do school. If you don't know what you want to do, then just stay in school. And, you know, if you're absolutely hating it like that bad that you just make any excuse not to go, then you may as well start getting a head start and earning some money and doing something you like and getting a feel for the workforce.
Yeah. Final thing. What's a message to your followers? Like, what would you want them to know? What do you want to say to them?
I guess no direct message as such, but you can't let everyone tell you how things are supposed to be. So you're supposed to go to school, you're supposed to graduate, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to work this many hours a week. You're supposed to. It's all a bit of a false belief that you get brought up like that. Realistically, you just got to find what you enjoy doing and do it. Don't listen to anyone saying you're not supposed to do that, you're not supposed to do this, and work out what you want. Like, you might want to earn $1 million a year. That's fine. Like, if money's the goal, there's nothing wrong with that. For me, it took me, you know, a little bit to work out that like I didn't care about money. So like all I want to do is be able to work from anywhere I want. So like, you know, that sort of defines wealth to me. Is like, you know, I don't really care about money. My wealth would be having like, you know, good relationship, good mates, being able to party and do whatever I want and be wherever I want. So you could be working towards the wrong goal. If you're being brought up to say, hey, you should be earning 200 grand a year, that who says that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a law. So I think a lot of young dudes, and especially me, I thought the same. I felt really shit when I wasn't enjoying school. And when I was getting bad grades, it's a bit of a kick in the face because you're already being taught at a young age that you're not going to make it. So they'll say like, if you don't get an A+, if you don't do this, you know, you're not going to do this and you're not going to do that. These days it's like, especially with social media and stuff, you can just do your own thing. You know, nothing. I mean, look at like YouTubers and influencers getting paid more than doctors that are like doing brain surgeons. It's insane. Like they're literally, in a way, as much as people hate it, we're extremely lucky to be at this time where we can just make our own brand, put it out there, put it in front of your face, start a page, do this. And so I think that's a huge thing. Like, just no one can set your goals but you, and no one can choose what's important, what should be and shouldn't be, but you just work out what you want and just, do it. So,
and go for it. I like that, man. It's a really nice final message. What I want to do, just to bring this to the close, is make sure everyone knows where to go to continue to follow your journey. Yeah. So at Troy Candy on Instagram is Troy's personal Instagram. At iCandy Motorsports, and then ECM at ECM Label. And guys, make sure if you enjoyed this and you like what he's wearing, to go check out some of the merch. We are going to be doing a giveaway, and more details on this is going to be put out very, very soon with regards to this whole podcast.
Yep.
Thank you for jumping on, man.
No, awesome. Thanks for having me, bro. It sort of helped me bang through a few more questions instead of typing them up.
No, I hope you enjoyed it. And that's it. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks,
Take care.
Guys.